We're not just instrumental. And then he says, we need to take awareness of emotions. And he says, South Africa offers a unique opportunity for understanding the African concept of Ubuntu or humanness. Ubuntu is rich with consideration for compassion and communality. So what does it have to do with me sitting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I come from an individualistic culture? Well, what does he tell them? I think this guy is a strategy professor and manager. He says, I contend that Ubuntu can guide the development of managerial practices for healthy competitive advantage. He hooks it to, it may be a way to promote competitive advantage. You have to read the article and see if you buy the rest of the argument. So he took something that many people, how they can gain from what you have done. And I think sometimes we don't do that. We hope they'll guess and figure it out. They're not. They're not going to look for it. As Tristan said, if you haven't told them in the first 3 pages what this article is about and what I will learn, it may not go out to review. We cannot write it like a fairy tale. You know, a fairy tale, you wait till the end to get the lesson right. The moral of the story. You got to tell the moral of the story early on. That's a different type of writing. And so we hope we'll get you into that style of writing. We can take questions after. So my last thing, 2 things. So what do you need to know to use these strategies? You could all use them to learn these strategies. You knew I would say this. You got to know the current conversation. You got to keep up, as hard as that is. And I know it's hard because you're busy teaching. You got administrative, management people. We got too many academics and young academics in Africa doing too much administrative work. True, yes. Say amen. Yes. You know, I say to them, you know, nobody likes me there because I just would speak. I became the deputy dean for research, and I said to the dean, you're killing people in admin. Did you hire this bright PhD who's so energetic and wants to do their research, and you have them doing admin? Please, we got to solve that problem. Or we give them heavy teaching loads. They're teaching 5 different subjects. It's not right. It's almost unethical. I'm sorry. We can talk about that later. Let me not preach. But see this. You got to keep up. Else you are not on the edge of the conversation. You think about it. The example I always use in South Africa because everybody is relevant. So, you go to a reception and it's for sports people, you know? And you go around and everybody's having cocktails and talking. These are people who, you know, they know the inside and out of rugby is the big thing now. Where people are talking about, because the World Rugby Cup is on, the South Africans are big rugby people. Everybody's talking about rugby. So you go to this conversation where people who have a lot of knowledge about rugby, they're talking about the players, the statistics, the scrums, everything. And then I walk up there and I say, oh yeah, isn't it interesting the shape of the ball? Isn't the shape of the ball very interesting? What do you think people are going to do? South Africans are polite. So they're not going to say, are you joking? And they're going to say, excuse me, and walk away. And sometimes, I'm being blunt, sometimes we get papers like that from the continent, where you can see the person is not up to date. Even their reference list is missing the latest papers. You know, it may be now, that you can tell the person has no idea where the conversation is. I'm making a joke of it, it's not a joke. So you have to keep up. And you got to find a way to keep up. We can talk about that. Put careful thought into planning your research questions. Designing your research methodology. We cannot go there. There's another workshop. You see? So if everybody is using a chainsaw, you cannot come with a handsaw. You cannot. Unfortunately. Okay? have knowledge of the high-impact journals in your field. Why? Unfortunately, that's where a lot of, not where all of them are, not all of them, but normally the leading-edge conversations are taking place in those journals. Not all the time. Take advantage of special issues of journals focused on Africa. You know why? And this is very important. When you see a call for papers in your discipline where they're focusing on Africa, go for it. You know why? You won't have to fight the first problem. This research is from Africa. They're inviting research from Africa. And a lot of my colleagues in the North, I'm telling you, they have realized their journals are not international. I get lots of emails. Stella, would you please circulate this? Do you know of any scholars who can come on the editorial board? Many of them, in fairness, are trying to internationalize. Is that in your field? They're trying to become more international. So take advantage of special issues. And there's lots of them in lots of fields. Attend and submit your work to top conferences. You cannot send, I said it earlier, do not send a journal article unless you have presented it to peers. Get that verbal feedback. Get the knockout factors. Find out the factors that would disqualify the articles in a friendly environment. Have your peers read it. That's another thing we don't do well. We don't read each other's work and give a friendly review. If you read somebody's work, you don't say to them, I want to be the co-author. If I read this for you, I must be the co-author. See, I know this thing. No. You should be doing it from collegiality. They should invite you, not you saying, okay, if I read this article, you must make me the co-author. You're laughing because you know these things happen. And then collaborate with scholars both on the continent and outside the continent. Do both. It will enrich your work. Dr. Garway mentioned mentoring. So I'm going to leave you with some closing thoughts. Here's another very prolific Mudembe. He wrote the book, The Invention of Africa. But I love this. Read it. To adopt an image, everything takes place as if the African intellectual were trapped in an elevator that perpetually goes up and down. In principle, a single gesture would be sufficient to stop the machine. Get out, rent a flat or a room. In sum, live and experience the reality of the world. But apparently he didn't think of she, he does not understand that the initiative to escape belongs to him or her. If you want to do research, you must work at doing research. We can blame the North. Yes, the North does this. The North is stopping me from writing. No, the North is not stopping you from writing. You may be stopping yourself. Think about that. And the last one is more inspirational. He's being cynical here. You see? But this thing of always complaining, you know? Do it. Like the person who said, I like to write theory. You heard what Tristan say. Write theory. Nobody's stopping you from writing theory. Learn how to write theory. Take that indigenous thing and develop the theory. Work with people. So we do have to use some agency in this thing. And then, of course, I like this from Rule Kosa. If not us, then who? If we don't write about building knowledge from Africa, who else will do it? We must rise to the challenge. And we can. We can. We can do it. You know? And if you look at honest senior prolific scholars, they didn't learn to be prolific writers overnight. It's a journey. And I hope it's a journey that you will be willing to take. You see? And they will tell you. There's one article I'll reference to you. It's called, Writing the Introduction. Most good authors will tell you they've written the introduction 50 times. So thinking they just sit there with the computer and the article is finished, no. We struggle. I still struggle. I still panic when I look at that blank screen. I worry, but I I know one thing, and excuse my English, I have another friend that says there's a correlation between how much time you spend in your seat, bum in seat, equals publication. The only way to write is to sit down and write. I tell my students, when in doubt, write. When in doubt, write. Put your ideas out there and then build them. So all I'm saying to you is not, an article is not going to appear from magic. You must engage with it. So thank you. I probably went over my time, but hopefully I've given you some things to think about. I can take questions. We can take just one. Okay, questions?
Yes.
I'll be by myself.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Questions? Okay, let's see. I can reach you. There you go.
Thank you very much for the insightful presentation, Prof. Stella. Well, I just would like to comment. It's not a question.
Okay.
The comment I want to start with from our founding father of Zimbabwe, Mr. Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe said that, with the due respect to our colleagues come from UK and the north and western side, he said that you also shared your experiences, how you feel when you write an article, send it to an American journal, how they treat us. So in that context, I'm speaking. Now, Mugabe said that the racism doesn't go away when the white cars are using the black tires. The racism doesn't go away when we are having a financial crisis. We are blacklisted, not whitelisted. Racism doesn't go away when we wear dresses. The top-rated research and development, America alone has got about 24% of the world, and Japan got 13%, and list goes on. Now the challenge is that if we have the journals, you are the editor-in-chief, you started a journal, if you want to index that into this Web of Science and then the Scopus and so on, it is a tough job for us because they undermine us. They have a resentment that African scholars or scholars coming from developing world, they are incompetent and they are the only people. So that notion is still existing. That is why our people, they could not able to publish in top-rated journals. We are talking about the top-rated articles and top-rated journals, impact factor and so on. But the challenge is that the moment your article must be the most efficient and most productive paper in the continent, but when it goes to some of the journals, they see it with a different eye. They treat us like orphans and stepchildren. So this notion probably needs to be changed somehow. So that is the kind of comment I would like to make. Thank you.
Okay, let me just say something. You see, I understand what you're saying, but if you consider yourself only to be a victim, you will stay a victim. I'm sorry. All I'm saying is that, yes, that is a reality. But power concedes nothing unless you push back on it. You see? So we must push back. And you push back by writing in a powerful way. And as I said, don't get the impression that people are not breaking through. They are breaking through. And I do see, it's not perfect, but I see some movement. I can ask my fellow scholars. There is some movement of being open to research from the rest of the world. So yes, there's still a problem, but again, like the one from Udembe, we have to also not just sit back and say, I cannot speak. And I can tell you the same talk I'm giving here when I go to the Academy of Management and I talk to my colleagues there, I tell them, you are saying all knowledge is from the north. So I do what I can to get them to understand the problem. But what we cannot do is to shy away from publishing because we think nobody will accept it. Now for the Academy of Management, the Academy of Management, we have started our own journal, the African Journal of Management. And I must say started that journal, we have done some things that are different from other journals. Like we want the practitioner, so we have a practitioner section. We welcome that, you see? But we are publishing very good articles about management in Africa. And we were able to get it on the Scopus list. And then Emerald Publishing, of all the companies, are very open to advancing scholarship from the rest of the world. So all I'm saying is that we should not just mire in misery. We must try to impact our environment. So I'm just saying, what can we do as scholars ourselves? How do we support each other? How can management and the Minister of Higher Education make the resources available? You know, we need to get out of the dependency model. That has been a negative for Africa. The dependency. We're waiting for them ways that we can go forward. Sorry for that long read. Other comments? Can we? Yes. See, we started our own journal. You know how we were able to start our own journal? You know how we're paying for it? You know, publishing a journal and getting a journal started is very difficult. You got to have money. The only reason we have that journal is because we are an association. And we have members who pay a membership. They pay membership. That membership allows us to pay the publisher. They gave us a good price.